Okay, so today's lesson is going to be over segments and circles, which is section 10.6 in the book. So you can always go to the book and look up more information. The front side we'll do together. The back side will be your homework with the scrambled answers on the bottom. So this is going to go quick. Segments of chords. In a circle, if you have two chords that intersect, then here's the formula. EA times EB will be equal to EC times ED. So in the first problem, if we're solving for segment AF, we'll let that be X, then we're going to go 18 times X is equal to 8 times 9, which is 72. So the length of X, or segment AF, is 4. So the problem can be very easy. You just have to follow the pattern. Now the second one is much tougher, so make sure you're paying attention. So we have to multiply this segment times this segment, X times X plus 4, and that's going to be equal to this segment, X plus 1, times this segment, X plus 2. Notice I have them in parentheses because these are binomials. So when you see a binomial, always put them in parentheses. So now we have to multiply by distributing. We have to FOIL these out, which is the same as distributing. So X times X is X squared. X times 2 is 2X. 1 times X is 1X. And 1 times 2 is 2. Now we're going to combine like terms. If I take the X squared and try to move it to the other side of the equation, it'll cancel. So when I try to move this over by subtracting X squared, it'll cancel. That's good. So I've got 4X equals 2X plus 1X is 3X plus 2. Subtract 3X, and X is 2. So that problem was pretty basic and pretty easy also. So this is how you do segments of chords. Segment times segment equals segment times segment. Follow the pattern. Second one is called segments of secants. So this is a secant because it extends outside the circle to an exterior point, and so does this one. So they're both secants. The formula is as follows. EA outside times EB, which is the total distance, is equal to EC, the outside segment, times ED, which is the total distance. So it's outside times the total equals outside times the total. So let's look at the first one. I'm going to work with this secant first. Outside segment times the total distance from here to here, which would be X plus 10. Make sure you use a grouping symbol since it's X plus 10. That's going to be equal to outside distance of 9 times the total distance from R to Q, which is 9 plus 11, 20. So distribute. Subtract 100. Divide by 10. You get 8. So that's not too bad either. This will be the one that's going to be hard. So make sure you're paying attention to this one specifically. You've got outside segment 3 times the total distance from here to here. So that's 3 plus X plus 2, which would be X plus 5. That's equals the outside distance, X plus 1, times the total distance from here to here. So the total distance is X plus 1 plus X minus 1, which would be 2X, and then 1 and minus 1 cancel, so it'd be 2X. So let's distribute. 3 times X plus 3 times 5. distribute the 2x. 2x times x plus 2x times 1. Now we have to try to combine like terms. Well, this is going to be the hardest problem of the whole page. This is a quadratic equation because it has an x squared term, and it won't disappear. Like up here, when you subtracted x squared, it disappeared and canceled out, which made the problem easy to solve. This one has to be solved by factoring since you have an x squared term. So you have to line everything up behind the x squared term. Move the 3x to this side by subtracting 3x. 2x minus 3x is negative 1x. Move the 15 to the back, make it minus 15, and set the equation equal to 0. So if you can't remember this, then you need to refer back to your algebra skills. When solving a quadratic equation, you have to set it equal to 0 and then factor this. So now we're going to factor this. This is a trinomial. Trinomials will break into two binomials. 2x squared always forms from multiplying the first term times the first term. So the only choices you have are 2x and 1x, because 2x times 1x is 2x squared. 15 has two different sets of factors that can work, that are potentially going to work. 1 times 15, and the other one's 3 times 5. So I'm looking for which one of these combinations will multiply with the 2 and the 1 to create negative, and then subtract to make a negative 1 in the middle. That would be this one. And it's got to be 2 times 3 is 6, 1 times 5 is 5, and 6 minus 5 makes 1. So 2x would have to multiply times the 3. So the 3 goes here, and the 5 is going to go here. So since that's a minus 1, the larger carries the minus sign. That would be the 6. So the minus sign attaches here, which means this is the plus. So if you FOIL it, you get 2x times x is 2x squared. 2x times negative 3 is negative 6x. 5 times x is 5x. And negative 6x and 5x makes negative 1x. And then 5 times negative 3 is negative 15. So that's my factored form. And now you make two little mini equations. What's it going to take to make this binomial equal to 0? Subtract 5, divide by 2, and you get negative 5 over 2. Here, make a mini equation, and you get 3. So which one of these is the right answer? That's the right answer because it's positive 3. This answer's no good because it's negative and you can't have a negative length. So this will be the hardest problem. This is the kind that you need to be concerned with for the quiz and the test, learning how to factor by setting it equal to 0. So now you know how to do segments of secants. It's the outside segment times the total equals the outside segment times the total. Now the third type of equation or formula is called the secant and the tangent segment. So here's a tangent, here's a secant. The formula says EA squared, so take whatever you have there, square it, is going to be equal to the secant outside segment times the total segment. So that always stays the same for a secant. It's always outside times the total. So if I look at this one, I've got tangent squared is equal to the outside segment times the total distance of 12 and 15, which is 27. So x squared equals 324. Since x squared is isolated by itself, you can take the square root of it, and x is 18. So that's not too bad. Next one, there's your tangent. There's your secant. So the rule is tangent squared is equal to the outside segment of 8 times the total distance from here to here, which is going to be 8 plus r plus r. So that'd be 2r plus 8. Square 20. Distribute the 8. Now this is an easy one to solve for r. Subtract 64, and you get 336. Divide by 16, and you get 21. So as you can see, the segments and chords is not hard, follow the pattern. Segments of secants is not hard, follow the pattern. Segments and secant and a tangent segments, follow the pattern. None of these were hard except for this one, and that's because you have an x squared term and an x term, which means you have to set it equal to 0 and factor it out, and then make many equations. This is the one that you need to be concerned with. The rest of them I think you can do. Now, flip to the back side. This is your homework assignment. You got 12 problems. You got 12 answers down at the bottom. Circle the following problems because these are the ones that are going to be causing it that you have to factor. Number 3 needs to be factored. Number 6 needs to be factored. Number 7 needs to be factored. And number 12 needs to be factored. If I was you, I would do 1, 2, 4, 5, 8, 9, 10, and 11 first. Then I would go back and do 3, 6, 7, and 12. In all these answers, you have exactly 12 answers, 1 for 1. Okay? If you have questions, I'll be here on Monday and Tuesday morning for tutoring. Assignments number 1, 2, and this is 3. This is assignment number 3 is going to be due when you come to class on Tuesday. So, and then we have a test next week on Thursday. So make sure you're ready for it by studying hard this weekend. Thanks.